And it's Friki de Bici, riding my bici around the streets of Valencia, Spain. Oh, beautiful cycling weather is here, man. I enjoyed when it was really hot and really humid. I love the sweat, but I have to say, this weather where it's around upper 70s, 80s, still humid, but not quite as humid, it is ideal. There's a breeze. As long as that breeze doesn't mess with the audio quality of the video, I'm good. A little bit's fine though. I want to give you a flavor of what it looks and sounds and feels like to ride here. One of the things that I was thinking of over the weekend, I thought, oh, this is something that I think a lot of people that ride their bike, especially in cities, can relate to, is all the gear that's available and different types of clothes you can wear when you ride. It's something I've always gone back and forth on. When we used to ride, the bike shop I worked at, oh, and those were the days, man. Riding with some of these people. You know, I'm gonna do, just had the idea. In this video, I was gonna talk about some of the different people that I've worked with at the bike shop that I work with in Southern California. We're talking, how long ago now? Probably, we're in what, 2025? That was 2008, so a good 15, 17 years ago. Jeez. But I'm gonna do a separate video to talk just about these characters that I work with in the bike shop. Because as I think about them, some of the best people I've ever met and had the chance to get to know. This brings a smile to my face. So we'll do that in a separate video. But at the bike shop, we would go on group rides. And the cool thing about working at a bike shop is you got everything for cost plus 10%. So super cheap. We all had good bikes and we all wore decent cycling clothes for the most part because we got them for a really good price, better than you can get them for on sale. And what got me thinking about the guys that worked in the bike shop was that there was this one guy that when he showed up in a group ride, it was like he was almost in street clothes. And he was the best rider out of all of us, like by far. He would just show up once in a while and I wouldn't say purposely drop us all because he wasn't that kind of person, but he was just strong, almost effortlessly at the front of the pack. He didn't have great cycling clothes on. ¿Sabes? So now that I don't get a deal, I just don't even really go there. I'll probably do a short video where you can see what I actually wear when I ride. I'm wearing street clothes. We went on a ride with some friends, probably about a 30-minute ride or so, to go to another town, to go to the beach, and they had fitness clothing on when they showed up, which is fine, but my wife and I had our street clothes on. It's just, I tend to treat the bike like a mode of transportation. If I got into my car, I wouldn't wear, like, you know, driving gloves and all that kind of stuff. Some people do. It's just funny, you see someone driving around in like a, you know, a tricked out Ford and they have driving gloves on. Like, who are you fooling? And that's not to say that somebody that wears everything from a great kit to like just fitness clothes on a bike is the equivalent. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying I've always felt more comfortable in street clothes, but at the same time also felt a bit weird. Because I have shown up at rides that are more like, okay, we're going on a ride for exercise and just to do a ride. And I just didn't feel the need to wear anything official. But over the weekend, I was tempted to make some purchases, not just clothing purchases. I will say I've always had a thing for Rapha, which, if you don't know Rapha, it is a very expensive cycling brand. They make primarily clothing, and I've never worn anything by Rapha, but my assumption is that it's really good. And they're having a sale, apparently. Said it was just happening over the weekend, but I think it's, you know how they say these things, oh, the sale's only this weekend, and then all of a sudden it's Wednesday and they're still having the sale. But there was a bunch of stuff that was like 40 or 50% off, including a Rapha bib. Now, if you don't know what a bib is basically cycling shorts with fabric that extends from the short to the torso, and then there's straps that you put over your shoulders. And then over that you can put a cycling jersey. As I always have, you can just put a t-shirt on. And until you've worn a bib when you've ridden your bike, you don't understand. Like, it sounds stupid, a bib, and they can look kind of weird, but it's the most comfortable riding experience that you are ever going to have wearing a bib. And I have to think, based on their reputation, that a Rapha bib is maybe better than the rest. I don't know. So I put the bib in my cart. It was like 70 euros, regularly like 140 euros. And I ruminated on it during the day, slept on it at night. And then I started thinking about Friki de Bici and exercise and heart rate and oxygen output and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, let me download Strava. I haven't used Strava since it first came out. I wonder what they're doing now. Do they have their own hardware, like watches and so forth? Well, it turns out Strava hasn't really changed all that much from when they first came out, but you can connect them to hardware. So I was like, well, I should get Strava because it's a good resource for routes, and you can upload your own routes, and you can see your data, how fast you were going and how far you went and all that stuff. But if you connect it to a smartwatch, like a Garmin or a bike computer or a heart rate monitor or whatever, you can also get that data imported in. Or you can just see that data in the app of whatever watch or computer you have. And I've always been interested in things like heart rate. I have a pretty low resting heart rate. I like to feel it spike when I'm doing exercise and then feel it come back down. I don't know what my oxygen levels are, but it's something I'm curious about. So I started doing some research on the watches. I'm like, I used to have a Garmin bike computer. Well, Garmin makes like the standard. They're standard in sports watches to monitor all of these things. So I put a Garmin watch, after some research, in my cart at Decathlon. Could have picked it up on a Monday morning after buying it over the weekend. And then I just started thinking, do I really need these things? What are they going to add to my life? I feel super comfortable in cut-off jean shorts that are made for summer weather, a Uniqlo t-shirt, a pair of running shoes, and socks. I don't really need anything other than that. Now, maybe if I was out riding 4 or 5 hours by myself or in a Peloton on a group ride, maybe, just maybe, I would want and I would actually need more. Same with the data. Like, do I really need the data? I just told you, I know what my resting heart rate is. I know what happens when I'm in hot yoga. I know what happens when I start riding my bike hard. I already know this information. Why do I need it not only reaffirmed to me, but repeated to me many times throughout the day? My wife and I would have a problem if I had access to this data 24/7. So that's just the question of what do you really need? And I wonder, what do you wear when you ride? Like, do you wear a kit or you just keep it simple? I'm inclined to keep it simple, but I have to say that I see the allure of wanting to wear Rapha or whatever. One reason why I never took the plunge and got some of the better cycling clothing when I used to ride a lot. I used to wear that stuff is because like, if I knew the difference, if it is true that Rapha is actually better, then that might be a problem, right? But yeah, Russ, that was his name. He would show up. I'm probably like revising the story historically to make it sound better, but all I know is that Russ would show up looking quite different than the rest of us, and he was clearly the strongest among us. So in the next Friki de Bici video, we're going to talk about Russ and some of the other people I work with at the bike shop, because man, that was one hell of an experience that I am super happy to have had. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. I got so many ideas. I could just record all day long, and I might do just that. No.